Hey guys, today we're going to be going over our 5-week onboarding course that we do over here at Streetlight Realty. So if you're a brand new real estate agent or you're an agent who has been recently licensed, I would even venture to say if you're a real estate agent who has joined a brokerage and you've kind of been struggling, you're maybe wrapping up your first year, going into your second, or maybe even going into your second, and you feel like you quite haven't gained the traction you thought you might, you're going to want to go ahead and listen to this. As you can tell, just right off the clip, I do not really edit these. It's not really time conducive for me. I do want to help new and upcoming agents out, so it's just easier for me if I can do this as if I'm talking to you in person and kind of go over this the way I would with any new agent over here at Streetlight Realty. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to take these things and implement them into your own business so that you can start closing the amount of deals that you are hoping to close for the next 365 days. So everybody focuses on getting licensed, and then the day they get licensed, they're like, okay, now's the day to really start putting this all together, and now I can start going after the business. That's wrong. That's not how you should be approaching this. Now, hear me out if you're already licensed. I get it. It's going to be a little bit late for you, but it's not too late to hit the restart button. So what I'm talking about here is it's kind of like pre-gaming, right? Just like a sports team or anything else, there's preparation that goes into making sure you're ready for the actual game or the event or whatever activity it is that you're leading up to. And real estate's no different, and it's not just about passing the exam. Now, that is the most important thing here. I think at least for the state of Ohio, I think it's like 60% maybe who passed the board on the first try. So definitely do not do this stuff and shove aside passing your state exam. That is the most important thing by far, but there are things that you can do leading up to the day that you get licensed. So right here, we have a pregame checklist. It's fairly simple. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6. Was that 6? Can I count? Yep, there's 6 things on here that we recommend doing if you're about to get licensed. So the very first thing I have on our checklist for Streetlight Realty is review our new agent resource center. And those are things you're going to have to know, people you're going to have to contact to get things like your MLS and things like that set up. Again, you're not going to necessarily be able to action on some of these items, but they're going to be things you're already going to be familiar with as you're going through your onboarding process with your brokerage. But it's nice when you already know who to email to get your business cards. It's nice to know who you're going to have to go to get MLS access. It's going to be nice to know how you're going to get your website set up. Those are all important things. Hopefully your brokerage has a new agent resource center. They may or may not, and if that's the case, you're going to have to find a mentor, your team lead, or your broker that you're going to have to get with, and they're going to have to cobble something together for you. And if they're unwilling or don't already have those things, maybe you're not even going to the right brokerage to begin with. So something to think about. Now, for us, we also have what is our CRM. So if you're not familiar with what a CRM is, that's a customer relationship manager management tool. Not going to get in deep into that. We use Chime over here at Streetlight Realty. So I want agents to start watching tutorials on Chime. So before they ever start prospecting, they're going to have some type of familiarity, I can't even say the word right now, with our CRM. Now, there's 2 ways to get familiar. One is, as the end user, you got to understand what that experience is like for a client or a customer or whatever you want to call your potential prospect. I would learn it from that side probably first, right? So just go to your brokerage or team's website, browse, see what some of the automations that they have in place look like. get used to that, understand what it's like to favorite and request showings through the website that you're going to be using to garner your business. As you're doing that, you're also going to want to spend time on the back end or the actual CRM part. And you're going to want to understand how the organizational structure is going to work. And you're going to want to know how to make notes, if you can voice record, getting it set up, making sure that your cell phone is linked to the CRM so you're getting the notifications as text messages or emails. You want to make sure all the bells and whistles that you're going to use are actually set up and you understand how it all works. So those are all things you can do without being licensed, right? You're not actually reaching out to anyone. You're not actually trying to get anyone to buy or sell real estate because you can't do that if you're not licensed. These are just things you're going to do and be already familiar with for the day that you walk into the brokerage as a licensed agent. You're going to be ready to go, firing on as many cylinders as you possibly can. And then, so if you are on my team at Streetlight, one of the items on the checklist is to get added into our REDX system. It's a triple dialer that we use here at the brokerage, or at least on my team. And again, getting familiar with how to use things such as REDX. REDX is going to be different than Chime CRM. They are two different systems. There's a lot of similarities, but yet again, they just aren't the same. So creating your list and organizing your list in REDX has nothing to do and is nothing alike Chime CRM. Again, these may not necessarily be the tools that you're going to be using at your new brokerage or the team that you're currently joining, but there's things like Vulcan 7, Espresso Agent, there's some other Mojo Dialer. So there's some other tools. Highly skilled, highly successful teams are probably going to use some type of variation. If it's not Chime CRM, it could be Boomtown. It could be Sync. There's a bunch of different stuff out there. What's the other one? Conversion is really, really popular. So if you're over there at EXP, that's probably what you're going to be using. For you KW folks, Command, I think, is like the popular go-to CRM there, or the one that's at least provided in-house. Getting your paperwork out of the way, so your W-9s, your direct deposit forms, all those fun things, that's on your pregame checklist. I would try to get that stuff knocked out and at least set aside. Whether they want to accept it right away, that's fine. But if you can work on those and have it all done so that you can just, again, walk into the brokerage, say, hey, here's my docs. I'm ready to start pounding the pavement. I'm going to go find my client. I don't need to deal with this bullshit paperwork because I've already done it. So again, these are the things that we recommend highly successful agents to do. So for some folks, you may be listening to this thinking like, well, that seems like a little much, but it really isn't. If you want to be successful, you're prepared day one. You're not getting prepared day one. You're already prepared. You're going to notice our week one agents are already prospecting, setting appointments, and starting to show properties. So the next thing we have on here is attending any of the meetings or huddles that we'll do. So specifically for my team, we do Monday morning kind of reviews, if you will. So we got our Monday morning meeting, and there we're kind of discussing any new activity that came in over the weekend, and we're discussing any layovers from the previous week. In other words, are there documents that we need to go collect? Are there any tasks outstanding? In other words, inspection reports that we need to button up, anything like that. And then on Wednesday, we do strictly sales meetings, which is discussing how many calls were made, how many appointments were set, how many closings were had, how many listings taken, buyer contracts taken, things of those natures. I call them KPIs. I don't call them that. That's what they are. And that just helps us as a sales team know and understand where we are for the week, the month, the quarter, the year, so on and so forth. Because we want to hit our goals, right? So if you want to hit your goals, you're going to have to be organized, and you're going to need some structure within that business model. This is kind of disheartening, I feel like, for a lot of agents, because one of the biggest things that we hear is, I became a realtor so that I could have as much free time as I want. It's like, well, that's true. You have all the free time in the world, but if you keep it free and you don't structure your day and you aren't organized and you don't have an agenda or goals to hit, all that free time is going to probably drive you to a W-2 job. So just keep in mind, something like 70% of people fail within their first year. What happened there? Oh, my screen went off. I don't know what I thought. Anyway, so the last bullet I have on here is reading the one thing. If you're Keller Williams or going to be going to Keller Williams, you are probably familiar with that or should be familiar with it. It's a book written by Gary Keller. He's the owner of Keller Williams Realty. It's actually a really, really solid book. It teaches you about figuring out and understanding and knowing what is the most important thing you should be focusing on. And as a brand new agent, it's not business cards. It's not setting up your website. It's not setting up all the cute pictures on all your social media accounts. If you don't have social media accounts, it's not setting up your social media accounts. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but really, all that setup stuff, my recommendation is, again, do it here in your pregame stage before your license and before you're legally allowed to start soliciting people so you can help them buy or sell some real estate. That should be done before you're licensed. But once you're licensed, that focus and energy on what I kind of like to think of the cutesy pootsy part is do it when you're not allowed to prospect. So you're allowed to prospect from 8 to 8. So if it's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and you have 0 clients, the last thing you should be doing is asking people like, hey, do you like this picture or this picture? Or do you like this signature or that signature? Like, no one gives a shit. Your clients don't give a shit because you don't have any. So focus on getting a client. That is the one thing. Read the book, The One Thing. You'll figure it out. But here you go. After you eat supper and you're not allowed to prospect anymore, that's when you can touch and focus on these things. You can make sure that business card is just right. Should you get the matte finish, the rounded corners? Is that cornerless? I don't even know. I think I have business cards. I really don't use them. But, some people it's important. Makes it official, if you will. But those things are not important. So, again, these are some of the crucial parts that I would focus on if you are starting to pregame. Couple other things, if you get through this and you're still feeling pretty confident that you're going to be passing your exam, because again, remember, that's the number one thing. You have to pass that exam. But if you've done all these things, you feel pretty good here, and you're feeling really, really, really solid about that test, then the next thing I would do that is not on this, start putting together an Excel sheet of your sphere. Names, first and last, email addresses, cell phone, landline, whatever it is that you have on your sphere, that's what you're going to want to go with. You should try to come up with 100 people. I have a spreadsheet that we use, and I can't remember where I got that from. I either got it from a coach or a Facebook group or something. A lot of this stuff gets passed around, but I may link it into this video if I can remember. But it will definitely show up in the week 1 portion of this video series because your first week, that's what you're going to be working on if you don't already have it. Your Christmas list is already a good place to start. You generally just need to start adding emails and phone numbers because you probably already have names and physical addresses. So if you get through that stuff, you got time, start putting together that list. You're talking immediate family, extended family, divorced family. No, I'm just kidding. But where was I going to go? Your doctor, your dentist, your kids' teacher, your teacher. I don't know. Maybe you're still in college. Who knows? Just anyone and everyone that you can think of. Past coworkers, current coworkers. If you really start thinking, the sphere starts to grow. And that's never going to change. You're always trying to grow that sphere. Past clients will eventually move into this list. And you just got to understand it's super crucial. This is going to be the beginning stages of your CRM. My database went from 3 people. I'm not a very popular guy. Didn't have a lot of friends. So it went from a couple of people that I can count on one hand to I've got, I think my database is up to almost 10,000. So not too bad. Now, those aren't all Sphere, but your Sphere is part of your database. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm not trying to make them longer than they need to be, but again, so if you're getting ready to get licensed or just became licensed, I would start with these things. If you've already done some of these, you're going to want to wait for the next video, and that's going to be your week 1 activities of what you should be doing in your first week as a real estate agent. And again, it still applies. If you've only closed a handful of deals and haven't pushed as hard as you wanted to, due to lack of knowledge on how to, stay tuned, and you're going to see some content I think that should be able to help you out. And we'll take it from there. I'm Jonas Hulbert. I'm the broker owner of Streetlight Realty. A little bit of background on me if you don't know who I am, which almost no one does. So whatever. My first year in real estate, I closed somewhere between 40, 50 deals, and I did that for my first 5 years. That put me somewhere between, I think, 6 and 8 million a year in my market. That puts me in the top 5%. Last year, I formed my team for the first year. I went from solo agent to team, and we went from, 40, I think I did around 40 deals on my own, maybe 30. So my volume personally went down just a little bit, but then my team made up for it. We did just shy of 100 deals, and I think that put us just shy of 20 million, and that put us in the top 1% for my market. So we know how to close deals here. I've never personally wanted to do more than 40 or 50 until I did the team thing. Leveraging other people has helped me tremendously. I've got a family, so for me, more deals was not worth less time at home. So, anywho, the things we will go over will definitely help you do that. You can do it in your first year. A lot of people tell you to aim low. I'm saying aim high, shoot for the sky. You should be able to hit it. And let's make sure we elevate your career to the level you want it to be at. So if you found any of this useful and you want to get notified about the next segment, please do me a solid. Hit the bell, whatever it's called, subscribe, and make sure you have the notifications turned on when you do that. All right, have a great one.